Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Crack the Code and Understand Your Attendees webinar. Our goal is that you'll walk away knowing what your event data can do for you by allowing you to gain a better understanding of your buyer and see how easy it can be to drive business outcomes from your events. I'm Alex Charney, and I'll be guiding the webinar today. Today's webinar, we'll focus on event professionals like yourselves and how to understand event attendees more deeply and how that can positively impact your business. By helping others on your team have a more in-depth understanding of your attendees, you can help move the business forward. Before we start, I did want to go over just a few quick housekeeping items. Number one, there will be a Q&A session at the end, so put any questions that you have in the chat and we will do our best to get to them during this presentation. If we don't get through them during this webinar, we will have someone reach out with an answer. Number two, this recording will be available to you after the webinar, so if you miss anything, don't panic. And you can also share it with colleagues after the fact as well. And finally, if you would like a one-on-one demo of Touchpoint Ignite, you can type the word Ignite into the chat or just fill out a form on our website and we will be in touch. I'd also like to introduce Bruce Russell, a senior product manager who will be giving you a demo of Touchpoint Ignite. He's going to show us how event data coupled with technology empowers you to truly get to know your event attendees and how you can act on that data to make your event program more successful. Bruce, it's great to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Pleasure to be here. Looking forward to it.
Lastly, I'm happy to introduce you to my colleague, Paige, who is a senior account executive here at Certain. Paige is going to tell us what it means to read your attendees' mind through event data analytics and how that can impact your business. You really don't need to guess anymore. That's the good news.
Thanks, Alex. Great to be here. I want to welcome everyone who's joined us here today and hope that you'll walk away knowing what your event data can do for you and how easy it is to understand, allowing you to drive business outcomes from your events. First, I'd love to see where everyone else is joining us from today using the chat feature in Zoom. Could you tell us where you're logging in from? And please don't be shy. We'd love to see some of that. Awesome. I see some people here from Seattle. Welcome. Someone also here from Columbia, Boston, and Los Angeles. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Keep feeling free to type that in. We'd love to know where everyone's from. But before we get started, did you have anything else to add, Alex?
Yes, I'm very excited to see someone from Columbia, Missouri here because I am originally from Macon, Missouri, so small world. We will be monitoring the chat, so just to re-emphasize, if you have any questions during the webinar, please type them into the chat and we will get back to those. Okay, that said, let's start out with a quick poll so we know where everyone is in their event journey. We do have 3 quick questions to ask you. They should be popping up on the screen here. Number one, what type of event attendee engagement do you include at your events? Number 2, what are your event goals? And number 3, what type of events do you put on? So we'll give you a few seconds to answer those and then we will move on. Okay, just a few more seconds here. Okay. Thank you for responding to the poll questions. This is a perfect example of how you can engage with your attendees and capture important data, which we will show you in this webinar, how you can turn that into meaningful insights. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start off by establishing that events are a key part of B2B marketing success. We know attendee experience and engagement are top of mind for event professionals like yourselves, but did your attendees really hear you? And how can you tell if your message resonated with them?
Yeah, those are really great questions, Alex, for event professionals to think about. That's why we've come up with solutions that not only captivate your audience, but also provide the tools and insights you need to ensure your events are impactful. The real value of events resides in the wealth of opportunities events offer to engage and better understand your attendees. For example, what topics are most important to them? What information are they looking for? And ultimately, how can you turn them into customers? As you go through the event, integrating all the information you capture into your MarTech stack allows you to act on insights and drive measurable business results.
To truly understand your attendee, it starts with the right data and the right event technology to help you effectively capture, analyze, and transform that data into a competitive edge for your business. As event professionals, you spend a lot of time organizing the event, and the buildup is very detail-oriented and time-consuming. But once the event is over, you need a report and details to show, was the event worth it? This is kind of where you start digging, or you're asking for help from others in your organization to try and pull that information from company-wide systems. But there's an easier way, so we're going to hop over to an example of what this could look like in the real world.
Yeah, all great points, Alex. Let's use an example of how email works in business. Let's say you're a major enterprise level company who's been sending daily promotional emails, hoping your prospects would open the email and take actions. Eventually, after a while, you decide to take a more data-driven approach by analyzing 2 years of purchasing history. This level of insight will allow you to segment your customers a lot more effectively by tailoring your emails to align more closely with your buyers' preferences. This underscores the importance of leveraging data and technology, not only to identify the right audience, but also to pinpoint the right moments for engagement and targeting.
So using the same analogy when it comes to hosting events, we know that collecting the data is just the beginning, and it's really important that you're capturing both the right engagement data points and that you're doing so at every single event interaction as we're showing you here. From the moment attendees open your email, to registration, to downloading the event app, and reviewing key content you upload for them. For example, what sessions did they attend? Did they respond to a poll or survey question like you guys did earlier in this presentation? Did they participate in a badge game, attend a product demo, or if they consumed your content?
So Alex, it looks like this allows us to get to know a little bit more about your audience at each touch point until we gain a clear understanding of who they are and what they like. It's really what you do with the data that will determine its value long after your event has ended. I want to mention that just like this, Touchpoint Ignite allows you to gain a clear picture of your attendees so you can tailor your marketing efforts and create events that deeply resonate with them.
Okay, so far we've discussed individual attendees, so let's take a look at how this would play out across an entire event portfolio.
Great. Yeah, let's do that. Now imagine capturing all that data, not for one attendee, but for all of your attendees, and doing so at scale. So you get to know your buyers across your entire event portfolio on a global level. As data is collected and analyzed on a global scale, it provides a more comprehensive understanding of diverse attendee groups. This enables you to gain much deeper insights into your buyers' signals as a whole, going beyond understanding just individual attendees.
You end up getting a macro level view of the overall attendee base. You can identify trends and patterns that recur across different events. This can help in tailoring marketing strategies, optimizing event content, improving attendee experiences, and even guiding the planning of future events. So you might be asking, how can I get this? We're going to show you a demo of our latest AI-powered event app, Touchpoint Ignite.
Before we jump into the demo though, let's review Touchpoint Ignite. Touchpoint Ignite is an intelligent event app designed to transform your attendee engagement data into deep audience insights. It captures buying signals before, during, and after an event, providing a 360-degree view of audience behaviors that transpire at each stage of your life cycle. The app is integrated with event intelligence and an AI conversational interface that empowers organizations to drive greater revenue and results from their events. I'll have Bruce show us an example of what we're talking about here. Hey, Bruce, can you show us how all of this works for all the event professionals on the webinar today?
Yeah, of course, Paige. Yeah, thank you. Let me share my screen. We'll do an example here. So we've talked about Touchpoint Ignite as this transformative tool for gaining insight into your attendees, but we want to show you some concrete examples of how that works in practice. So as event professionals, we're probably familiar with an event app, and this is our event app experience. It's a robust set of tools that let you host events with, social content, information, messages. It's a lot of tools in one that really serves your event needs. And we have an iOS app, an Android app, HTML5 web app. So I think these are things you're familiar with. What we've done with Touchpoint Ignite is really elevate that experience and make it tailored to, gaining that insight and understanding of your attendees, of your constituents, and really getting that insight that was buried a lot of the times in the past. So in the past, I think we would probably turn to something like a session survey or an event survey to understand the minds of our attendees and our participants. And that's great. That's one way to do it. It's a tool in your arsenal, but it should not be the only tool in your arsenal. I think a lot of times you have to kind of twist the arms of your attendees. You have to ask them several times. You got to drive them and motivate them to complete that survey. And if we want to understand the hearts and minds of our attendees as event professionals, I think we have a lot better ways to do that these days, more natural ways to do that. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways we like to think about this from inception, as you're planning your event, all the way through to reporting and, kind of collecting that feedback. So the first one I want to show you is social content. As event professionals, as event planners, you probably think of social content as just this nice to have thing. You let your attendees go and interact with each other. And within our event app experience, we have a lot of ways to do that. We have activity feeds, we have discussion boards, we have photos and ways to comment on various things. And that's all well and good. But if we start to think about it in this new world of event intelligence, of smart and data-driven events, we can start to use this to our advantage. So if you think about it from the onset, something like a discussion board can really be a tool to drive that feedback that we might have been relegated to a survey in the past. So if you ask questions, seed the content a little bit, we can kind of disperse that feedback throughout the application and really gain that insight in a much more natural way. So this is an example of a few questions, kind of asking, does anyone feel like this is the busiest season we've had? Asking about particular sessions. These types of questions get that feedback that you were asking for in surveys in a more natural way, in a social setting, with their peers where they see this interaction happening and they're driven, self-motivated to interact on that stage because, that's why they're at the event. They want to interact, they want to learn, they want to, make those connections. So it's a great way to get that feedback in a supernatural way. They don't even feel like they're presenting this information to you as an event planner. It just feels like the natural thing to do at an event. So social content is a great tool at your disposal to kind of seed that feedback in a natural way. So that's one pillar. Another real world concrete example I'd like to show is hosting content. So within our application, we have a myriad of ways to host content, whether it's a dedicated list of information that you want your attendees to consume and read, or it's, dispersed on your exhibitors or even on your sessions. I think session reading material is a common thing within our industry. You want your speakers to host content and engage their audience. So of course they have reading materials that they like to present. Now this is an example of a session hosted on our platform, and it has polls and surveys and people are earning credits. And then you have, the lowly reading material. And you're like, well, why do I care about that? When we're thinking about this holistically, we can use every one of these data points to drive that feedback and gain that insight. So here we have a couple of items, the marketer's guide to data, the sales executive's guide to data. And this simple example kind of presents you with a choice, right? So if you're a marketer coming to the session, you're going to click one because naturally I'm a marketer. I want to see that. If you're a salesperson, you'll go to the other one. So it lets you see at a glance, once we get this data fed into our system and are consuming it later, we'll know, hey, the marketers resonated with this session a lot more than the salespeople. So that's a great way to get that insight. Again, they didn't have to be told, hey, go give us your feedback as a salesperson. Did you find these, that kind of interaction doesn't have to happen. It happens naturally as they're consuming the content and the event hosted content within our platform. So all of that gets collected kind of behind the scenes without them thinking about it. And then you're thinking, well, now what was typically the hard part was you'd have to go back, feed through, go through your reports, dig through there, maybe do some pivot tables on your Excel spreadsheet, make a nice visualization. And what we've built within Touchpoint Ignite and this intelligent event app platform is we've taken care of that for you. You don't have to go do that. You don't have to be a BI, business intelligence dashboard master. You don't have to figure out how to import that data into another system. It all happens seamlessly behind the scenes and you gain these insights. You can see here, this is the landing page of our event intelligence dashboard. You get, a sense of engagement, you get participants, insights, and alerts all at a glance, and you can kind of see the demographics. As well as, we have these custom dashboards, these dashboards down here at the bottom, like engagement. I want to pop into there and see how the interactions within the event app took place, what kind of data I have there, and what kind of insights I can gain from them. So when I load this up, I see that I can, at the top left, see session or sentiment and summary analysis, which gives you a great sense of the words that were being spoken. So as people are interacting with the content, you can see which things are most popular. Speakers were popular. Workshops over here are in red and not very popular. So you can quickly at a glance get a sense of the sentiment for your overall event. We also had engagement summaries. So you can see people were viewing links, answering polls, maybe they're commenting a lot. So it's a great way to see at a glance what resources were resonating the most and kind of double down or fix the things that weren't working. We also have a session analysis, so a great way to see at a session level who was coming, how they were receiving that session. It's just a lot of pre-made visualizations and data right at your fingertips that you don't have to go digging for. And then the last one here is engaging content, which I want to kind of expand and take a closer look at. So if I go back and think about what I was showing you before in the event app platform, I showed you some reading materials and stuff like that. All of this reading materials, links, and content all gets bubbled up in these reports. And so I can see, for this event, they were focused on event intelligence and data intelligence. So I could see the reading materials that were presented and see how much interactions each of those were garnering. So I see intelligence strategies, data analytics, business growth, data intelligence trends, and data-driven decision-making. So they were very concerned with business outcome. That was the messaging that was resonating with them. They're concerned with their organization's growth. So those are the types of things that I can now use to communicate with those attendees and make sure my message is resonating with them. And also, you can figure out how to use that to your advantage when you're marketing the event for next year and stuff. So all this data is just bubbling up to the surface. And through these visualizations, I think it just gives you all of that power that you might have had to do a lot of work to get that information in the past. It's all presented here in this one all-encompassing dashboard, which is great. It's a great improvement, I think.
What if we want to see insights that are not on the dashboard? Can you show us that?
Yeah, of course. So this has a lot of ways to dig down into the data. You can select individual items and get insights on everything here, but it's not going to be all encompassing. It's not going to have everything you'd ever want to have in this visualization, of course. So what we have done is within the event app platform, we have built on top of that this conversational experience. So that is another tool in this arsenal that lets you gain that insight that you may not have had captured in that visualization. So there's going to be some items you want to know. You can ask about your event makeup. You can say, what was the most recent event on the topic of data? And it should pull up the event I'm looking at, which because I'm a cheater, I already know that this is what it's going to be. So I'm going to see if it gets it right. So you can interact in this natural language way and see that the chat experience gives you that information. Data intelligence forum, that was the most recent event on that topic. Or you can ask it, more general questions about how the event went. So how was the event received? I can ask the chat that experience, how it went, and see what it gives me. So, that's a very free form question. So you can ask things that don't have a set report in mind. You have just, whatever pops in your head. So it's a super powerful way to just kind of dig a little deeper without having to be an expert on where to get that information, how to compile it. And it gives me, as you see, a nice summary of the event, how it was received, says some areas where I can focus for improvement, and overall just how people were feeling about the event. So these things work in concert and really give you a huge set of tools that are giving you these insights that were so hard to get in the past. And now it's just super easy, intuitive, and visual. So it's visual and this conversation experience working together that really make for this new intelligent event platform. But with that, I'll send it back to you, Alex.
Great. Thank you, Bruce. So now that you guys have seen a little bit of the app and what it can do, we want to know what you're thinking. So we are going to pop up one quick poll here on the screen. So a few more questions should pop up. Okay, you should be seeing 3 questions now. Number 1, do you use an event app at all of your events? Number 2, what event data are you tracking today? And number 3, would you like to have the type of data and actionable insights you can get by using an event like Touchpoint Ignite for your next event? So we'll give you a few seconds here. Okay, a few more seconds. Great. Thank you guys for participating again. We really appreciate it. Just to wrap up, I did want to take a couple minutes to go over why Touchpoint Ignite. Because Touchpoint Ignite is an intelligent event app designed to efficiently capture, analyze, and transform your audience engagement data into actionable insights. Number two, you get buying signals right at your fingertips and gain a 365-degree view of audience behaviors at every stage of the event and at scale. And finally, as you just saw, it's an AI-powered conversational solution that empowers you to make data-driven decisions effortlessly and swiftly with context-rich insights. If you're ready to get started, you can type the word Ignite into the chat and we'll be sure to connect with you after this webinar. And of course, you can always contact us through our website at any time. So the last thing we're going to do here is just go through some of the questions from our audience. So if you have any questions that you have not yet put into the Q&A box, you can do that now. But we do have a few, so I'll get started with the first question that I see. For surveys and polling, do you offer best practices on how and what questions to ask in order to get actionable insights?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Yeah, so of course we offer ways to help you out. So we have templates based on your events or your organization in your industry. So we have templates that help you get a head start, and then of course we have professional services that can work with you to really make sure your event is a success.
Great. I host events that are not designed to sell a product. How can this help me?
Sure, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, we say a buyer and seller a lot, but what we're really talking about here is domain expertise. Everybody's selling something. You're selling your knowledge. You're selling the message you're putting out there, and you want people to buy into that message and be thinking of you as an effective communicator. So it's really about making sure what you are communicating is resonating with him. So, or we're all buyers, but yeah, you don't have to actually be selling a product for this to work for you.
Very true. Thank you. Okay. What if the dashboard doesn't have a specific analysis that we want for all of our events? Can you personalize it?
Yeah, so I showed the default event intelligence dashboard, but of course we can tailor that to your organization and your needs. So we have the ability to create custom dashboards. We would just have to work with you and your team to make sure we can get you set up how you want.
Great. Thank you, Bruce. Okay, I think those are all the questions we're going to go through for now. If we didn't get to your question, we will reach out and get you an answer. So thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you would like to reach out, like I said, you can always reach us on our website at any time. And thanks for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.